I was unsure about whether or not I should get excited about the upcoming 3.10 release. But sometimes all it takes is one or two seemingly small changes to make a big difference. I do like all the current mining that's available in the game, so I'm always excited about evolutions in that area. And one of those is what I'm calling Super Hadanite. This is information I've actually been sitting on for a few months. It was a discovery I made, but I wasn't sure exactly what to do with it, or what CIG's intentions were for this very different kind of rock that I'd stumbled across. But with some changes coming in 3.9 scanning and the recent leaks about the new ground mining vehicle, it gave me enough information to talk about this with relative confidence. I'm going to talk about specifics of the ROC, or R.O.C, standing for Remote Ore Collector, in a separate video after it comes to the public test universe. As of editing this video, it's currently still in Evocati, and I do want to respect the non-disclosure agreement, even though it's been leaked all over the place in Discord and everywhere else. But what I do want to talk about is the discovery I made of this Super Hadanite I found in the live build, and how it relates to what we could expect around the introduction of a ground mining mechanic in general. So, when did I first make this discovery, and exactly what is it? My first discovery of Super Hadanite was in the beginning of January of this year. I found a piece of Hadanite stuck to an asteroid, but when I went to go mine it, it turned out to be far more difficult than my multi-tool was almost able to handle. Hadanite does have a fairly high resistance, but even at full power, I had a really hard time nudging the fracture bar up high enough to be able to crack this rock. It took me almost 15 minutes total to slowly nudge that gauge upwards where I could break it. It was almost as if I was at some even power level with the rock, and was using the randomness of the volatility to occasionally work in my favor on the positive. Eventually, I was able to break it down, and after I gathered up the gems left behind, they turned out to yield a higher amount of Hadanite per chunk than any other Hadanite rock I had mined. So it wasn't that this rock was more resistant, it was that this rock was actually bigger than the average Hadanite, which is why, purely for the reason of this video, I'm calling it Super Hadanite. This isn't a name that CIG has applied to it, it's just one of my own crafting, so we know what we're talking about. This turned out not to be just an isolated incident though. Since then, I found another piece of this Super Hadanite. This time, I found it alongside other pieces of Hadanite in a small cluster, so I got to see that it actually did look a little bigger than the other rocks. In fact, it looked a good bit bigger to me, and it had the same kind of difficulty in trying to break it down. This last May, I put out a video about how scanning had changed in the 3.9 build. I wasn't sure whether it was by bug or by intent, and it's probably changing again in 3.10, but part of my speculation was that it was prepping for some new mining mechanics that might be ground-based, where FPS minables would be better located with other tools or equipment, like a special hand scanner or ground mining vehicle. Now, with this leaked information about the R.O.C, that all seems to be coming together. A ground mining vehicle like this should be geared for finding hand mineable rocks on the ground. And because it is a whole vehicle, we would naturally expect it to be a little specialized in its ability to be able to break down and handle rocks that are considered outside of the normal range of the multi-tool. I'm not going to deny or confirm anything in the leaked information.
I will neither confirm nor deny the facts of that story.
But that is also what's being reported there, which, like I said, would be a natural expectation. It would also make sense that if CIG was planning to drop a ground mining vehicle into the game capable of breaking down, we'll say, bigger than average rocks, they would start placing some of these rocks around the verse a little early. make sure there's no issues with these larger rocks visually or placement-wise, get a feel for how big the rock needs to be to put it outside the range of the handheld multi-tool. All those kinds of things. I can see why they would want to do that to make sure there weren't going to be any major problems with the rock itself when they get ready to put the new mining vehicle into the game. It also does make sense that they would have started experimenting with changes to the scanning. As convenient as it is to fly across the surface of a moon, detect an FPS mineable, and decide if you want to set down the ship and go get it, I can also see the other side of that coin, in wanting to somehow make hand mining a different kind of career tactic or approach than is used for ship mining. I'm not so sure that limiting scanning of FPS minables in ships like we see in 3.9 is really the way to go with making that separation, but the game's in development, and I can see them wanting to just test the waters in different areas. CIG has also talked about making larger caves, one you could almost fly down into, but might not be able to fully explore with your ship.
But for future releases, we'll be looking for massive sinkholes that you can land your ships in, and also huge cave entrances that you can drive your ground vehicles into.
So having a little ground rover to go around in the cave and grab up these larger chunks of Super Hadanite that might live more exclusively in these caves could be something as well, and not only give these larger rocks a home, but an immediate and unique reason for exploring these larger caves. In any case, I really like the idea of having some rocks like a Super Hadanite needing specialized equipment. It's one of the things I think people expected more for the M.O.L.E, where there would be some rocks, perhaps even a fair number of them, that would be outside the reach of a prospector, even with a helix head. And there probably will continue to be evolutions and changes with that, just like with these kind of hand-mineable gems. But that whole idea of needing special things to do certain types of work, I think is a really good one. And that's coming from me, someone that's always touted a preference for ships that can be used for multiple things. But I do think there's a balance, and having certain rocks that require certain things in order to mine them just seems like a good idea. The members of the READ organization are being extremely generous again and have donated an Aurora MR with game package for a giveaway. READ is involved with science, exploration, and engineering, which includes the mining mechanics that we currently have, as well as future salvage. They are also involved in trade and logistics, and have a defense division to keep your mining and cargo hauling safe. READ is a non-griefing or trolling organization that focuses on collaboration and emphasizes mutual respect for its org members and the community at large. To be eligible to win, just type in a comment to the video. Like and subscribe if you want to, feel free to use my referral code if you're wanting to get into Star Citizen, and I'll be talking to you later.